he was tempted to make some sketches because that's kind of part of his nature, being an artist, but he didn't want to buy any sketchbooks or pencils. So, being a collector and a forager, the geese and swans left plenty of feathers on the riverbank. He shaped them into some beautiful nibs to have as quills. And he was aware of a medieval recipe using oak apples, which are little galls that wasps make on oak trees. You grind those down, that's an acorn, ignore that one. Grind them down, add a little bit of water, and he had a pestle and water for all this. And it makes this very nice browning.
Some of his artwork that you'll see, his intention with his artwork was to very much try and get in touch with nature, and also to try and not have much of an impact on the natural world as well. So he didn't want his footprint to make any impact on the natural world at all. So his artwork was about, he foraged for food. So he also wanted to try and forage for his art materials as well. So for example, this is a swan's feather, and he found lots and lots of feathers, but he would carve them into a quill, and then he would
sketch pad. He also used an old photographic method. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's making photograms. We used to do it with children, where you buy this light sensitive paper, put a key or a coin on it, leave it in the sunlight.
Yeah, that's what rings a bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's an early form of photography, and nowadays artists, and we're both artists, you buy a special chemical and you paint the surface and keep it out of the sunlight because it's light sensitive. When it is exposed to the sun, and this appealed to Stephen because it was just using the sun, you can add a resist, and that obviously stops the sun getting through, but the rest of it turns blue, and so it's called cyan.
a more sophisticated version there, which is actually a digital photograph of a piece of barbed wire, which has then been printed out on a transparency and then laid on a piece of cyanotype. Can you see the underneath one? And that's where the sun has put that image onto that piece of paper, which is, you can see, is the forerunner to modern day photography, which is something he likes to work with. Another version of that is in here, which is a really good picture. If you'd like to walk this way, it'd be good. This is the same thing, digital photograph that's been cyanotyped onto the back of a soap box.
Yeah.
His lovely ensuite bathroom. Some would say it was a garden spray. If you put water in that, top it up with a little bit of hot to take the chill off, pump it up and down, water came out here, and there's a conventional shower base, and the waste went back out into the water underneath. That was designed by Stephen himself, and there was a chemical toilet here. He said this was quite awful really, because it wasn't very warm and the water came out as a trickle, but he was on seawater, so he said when he wanted to he just went and had a swim in the sea more often than
but also he didn't want to have much of an impact on the natural world as well, so he did as much recycling as he possibly could as well. So one day he was in the egg, and he heard this tapping on the side of the egg, and there was this pallet that's pictured here that was banging up against the side of the egg, and he thought, well, that looks interesting, so he took it out and left it on the bank, let it dry out, and then he made that chair out of it. So that's his way of doing some recycling. He also liked to recycle some of the, because he actually when he went out foraging, he didn't actually find enough to sustain him, so he couldn't find enough food to sustain him. So he did go to shops. He didn't live a complete life of isolation. It wasn't a hermit idea. It was more about trying to just have solitude so that he could actually get in touch with nature. But if you look at all of those pieces of work behind you there, and some of these, they're actually been printed on packaging. So it's actually the food packaging being recycled as well.